7th chapter. Then the Lord spoke again to Ahaz, saying, "Ask a sign for yourself, for the Lord your God makes it deep as Sheol and high as heaven." And Ahaz says, "I will not ask, nor will I test the Lord." Then he said, "Listen now, O house of David, is it too slight a thing for you to try the patience of men, that you will try the patience of my God as well? Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, a virgin will be with child and bear a son, and she will call his name Emmanuel. He will eat curds and honey all the time. He knows enough to refuse evil and choose good. For before the boy will know enough to refuse evil and choose good, the land whose two kings you dread will be forsaken." Like, wow. Emmanuel is mentioned 3 times in the Bible. 2 times in the Old Testament, 1 time in the New Testament. And you wonder, why was this passage written? This passage was written because of the history. Ahab took over being king at, I think, 26 years old. He served for 12 years. And when he did, he was being young. He had not experienced God. Actually, he had gone and worshipped other gods. He had worshipped the god of Molech. And you wonder, well, what god is Molech? Well, it's the same god that a lot of folk are still worshiping today. All over the world, they're worshiping Molech. Because they bought into this idea that to overpopulate the earth would be dangerous, as if we could overpopulate the earth. So we have sacrificed our babies to Molech by killing them even before they're born. And so what King Ahaz had done, he had even worshipped Molech by offering his own children into the fires of Molech and sacrificed his children. And so what happens after he has gone off and worshipped these other gods? That God is trying to get his attention. Now, let me remind you that the northern kingdom is called Israel, and the southern kingdom is called Judah. And Ahaz is the king of Judah. We know that Israel, the 10 tribes north, have gone off to all ungodliness. And what Ahaz has done, he started emulating them, worshiping other gods. And so the Assyrian kingdom is going to come down and attack Israel and Syria. And so Israel and Syria in the north has come down to Judah, to King Ahaz, and says, let's form an alliance, and that way we can defend ourselves against Assyria. And so Ahaz is going, well, I don't know. I don't know which way I should go. And so they said, don't waver, because you've got to align yourself with us, or we could all be picked off and killed. And he said, well, I just don't know. And they said, don't hesitate, make up a decision. And so he did. He went up to Assyria, the enemy, and made a covenant with them. Like, why should I trust these 2 people? I'll trust the enemy. And then the enemy didn't even abide by this covenant treaty. They were still coming in and left Ahaz in a very terrible position. So Isaiah is sent by God to come in and say, look, test the Lord and see if he won't be with you. And he says, well, I'm just a man. I wouldn't test God. Why would I do something like that? It's just too much. And Isaiah says to him, do it as high as the heavens or as deep as the sea. Ask God something awesome, and you'll see him come forth. And Ahaz said, well, I'm just not sure. And then Isaiah says, there is going to be a virgin who is going to become pregnant and who's going to have a child. His name is going to be Emmanuel, which means our strong God is with us. And he will appear even after these two nations that you fear will have already been eliminated off the face of the earth. And so you wonder, did Ahaz ever believe and test God? And the answer is no. No. He never took measure and to understand that God is a strong God and he will come and prove himself to all of us. So the three times that Emmanuel is written in the Bible, we understand Israel, or that Ahaz didn't understand that Israel was going to be protected by God, emphatically. But the next time that it's mentioned in Matthew. Turn over to Matthew, the 1st chapter.